Right. Let me. Right. So yesterday we try to work with like Firefox browser. So for the Firefox browser point of view, the implementation is taken care using Gecko driver. So you can install Gecko driver using NuGet package, or you can download Gecko driver from the official website. So this is, we already have the path. That means we already have the Gecko driver in this path. Just use Control F5. This is about Mozilla Firefox. This is about Mozilla Firefox. Suppose if you don't want to specify the path, you need to install that Gecko driver using NuGet package. I think your driver service not found exception that you need to install here. So Selenium manage NuGet package. So driver, Gecko driver. Install it. Right. So successfully it is installed. Oh, just use Control plus F5. Now the Mozilla Firefox is open. So this is another one. Okay. And how about like Internet Explorer driver? Internet Explorer driver. Open Internet Explorer driver. So for this, Internet Explorer driver. So driver 3 is equal to new Internet Explorer driver. And here we should pass the IE driver server, IE driver server.exe file. If you run the file, if you run this program, again you will get the same driver service not found exception. So you should install either Internet Explorer, or there is something like IE driver server that you need to download. So what you can do, just go here, go to google.com, sorry, go to seleniumhq.org, go to downloads, and here the download version for IE. So 32-bit window IE is recommended. 64-bit also it is there. So if you want, you can use any one of the thing, but the recommended thing is 32-bit and all. So you can download and you can use it. So I already kept it in my system, that is drivers. So here, this is IE driver server. IE driver server. Okay. So that you need to point out. Which one? Drivers. Yeah. So import the namespace. Right. So let us execute this program. Control F5. See, going forward, I'm going to show all the scenarios with the Chrome browser and all. But how to open different browsers? So for that point of view, I'm explaining. See, in the Selenium point of view also, most of the project, almost 70 to 75% of the projects are running with Chrome browser only, because they are preferring web automation using Chrome. Most of the projects in the market. After Chrome, the second preference is Firefox. And working with IE is they're taking as worst case. So if client wants, okay, he wants to run the application on IE, so at the time only people are preferring, because of like there is a secured pop-ups, lot of things under will be blocking unnecessarily. So that's why like even most of the guys will not prefer to work with like IE unless until client wants it. Okay. So hereafter, I'm going to show the scenarios with the Chrome browser. So this is a way you need to run your, or this is a way you need to open the browser, different browsers, IE, Chrome, and Firefox. So by default, the browsers are opening in the minimizing mode. By default, the browsers are trying to open in the minimizing mode. Okay. So yeah. So far any doubts, Nanda and Sujay?
No.
No.
Right. So the next scenario is we will see the basic actions with respect to the browser. Right click, add new item. The next scenario, the class is basic actions. So static void make. It's a case sensitive. C# is a case sensitive language. String RGS. Right. So the first point is open Chrome browser. So for that, use Chrome driver. Chrome driver is equal to new Chrome driver. I'm inserting the namespace for Chrome. Right. So this is a by default, the browser is going to open. And every time whenever you are running your script, always it opens a fresh browser. Every time when you're running your scripts, always it creates a fresh browser. It will not run on an existing browser. It will not run your test cases on existing browser. So close browser. So to close the browser, WebDriver guys, they provided one method that is called close. So we created object. So if you want to access the method, first we should create an object. So we already did that. So now you can access the method of particular class. So how to access that method? Using this object reference driver dot, there is a method called close. Now see this symbol, this this symbol is showing it is this symbol is represented, it is a method. It is a method. See, in C# point of view, the method is also starts with capital letter. In Java point of view, it is the starts with small letters. Okay, but in C# point of view, it is starting with capital letters. So to close the browser, there is a method called close. So now browser is open. The next thing is I need to open the application. I want to open the application. Open application. So let's say I want to open Google application. So driver dot, there is here, there is a property, the property called URL. Now see, this hammer symbol is representing for property. Okay. So here, this URL is representing, I mean, this URL is the property in C#, in Selenium WebDriver. So http google.com. So while giving the URL of the application, the protocol is compulsory, either HTTP or HTTPS. The protocol is compulsory. If you're not giving protocol, it is going to give you some kind of exception. It says like it is not well formed. Like that, it is going to give you the error. So that we will see. So to open the application, here we are going to use a property in C#, that is URL. Whereas in Java, they are using get command. There is a method called get method. So see, at the time of teaching the concept, I'll compare with the Java also. So here, what is the thing people are using and what is the thing people are using in the Java. So I'll compare both the things. So here they are using a URL. It's a property. There people are using a method called get method. So first let us run the program. I think basic actions we created a separate class. So we need to make it as a startup object. So startup object is something like basic actions. Yes. So just press Ctrl plus F5. Now see, the script is executing very fast and application opened and closed immediately. Suppose if you are not giving the protocol, let's say www.google.com. If you are giving like this, just press Ctrl plus F5. Now see, here you are getting something like WebDriver exception, invalid argument. So while specifying the URL, protocol is compulsory. See, internally, this WebDriver, it works based on the HTTP protocol. Okay, so the compulsory, we should have the protocol. Okay, so that's why you are getting WebDriver exception. See, here you are getting the exception. Because of this exception, the program will stop here only. It is not continuing further. So wherever you are getting the exception, the program will stop at that line only. Okay. So in WebDriver point of view, if something goes wrong with the Selenium, there you will get some kind of exceptions. So now in this case, you are getting WebDriver exception. So internally, the WebDriver, it works based on the HTTP protocol. So while specifying the URL, the protocol is compulsory, either HTTP or HTTP. Right.
Do we need to add www after HTTP?
It works. So protocol is compulsory. After that, you can have some anything.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Now see, for each page, there is a title. So now this is the page. For this page, the title is this one, Google. So if you want to get the title of the current page, if you want to get the title of the current page, title of the current page. So driver dot here, these guys in C sharp, these guys they are using title. Again, it's a property. So title, what it returns after program gets executed, it returns a string. So whatever the output, whatever it is generated, the output, it is generated in the form of what type? It is a string type. So what you need to do is, as a programmer, you need to save in the variable. So here I stored in the variable called title of type string type, because title, what it returns a string type. So to print the title, so here we are using console.writeLine. So CW, just press tab. So it is console.writeLine.
Mummy,
The title of the current page. The title of the current page is, the value is stored in the title. So just press Ctrl plus F5. See, current means wherever the focus is there, that is treated as a current. Current page. Current page means the page, on that page right now we are working. See, if you want to work on particular page, the focus should be there on that page. See, by default, whenever you try to open the application, by default it will be there on the page, by default. So now see, the title of the current page is Google.
One doubt.
Yeah.
For any website, do we still give the same statement
Yes,
in
for
the title?
any page, yes, for any page, you should give the driver dot title only. But
Okay.
before that, you
Is
need to
this
do,
for us? The
yeah,
title is not.
yes.
This is not asserting yet.
Hello,
Are we asserting or are we just getting the title?
we are not asserting it.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
See, title, what it is returning.
String.
So here, no, see, the type is get type. We are getting of what type? It's a string type. We are getting it. We are not asserting it. Okay,
Yes. Okay.
right. So once you get, then after that you can validate. It's up to you. Right. Similarly, current URL of the page. So say driver dot yes. Now see, this is the URL. If you want to get the URL again, same. You can get and you can set. Right now, if you want to open the application, we are setting it. If you want to get it, the same. String current URL CW current URL of the page. So where? Now here we are setting it, and here we are getting it. So using one property you can get and you can set. Whereas in Java, to get the current URL of the application, there is a method called getCurrentURL. Whereas here, the same URL. URL is the property, using that you can get and you can set. So above we did set, and here we are getting it. So let us run the program. So that means whatever the URL of the application at the time of opening the application, whatever the URL is displaying, to get that, we are using this URL. See, these are all the very basic actions with respect to any browser. So whatever you are writing the script, that script is going to be work for any type of browser. So the current URL of the page is this one. Right. See, driver.close, which is using closing the browser. See, there is another method which is using to close the browser is driver.quit. So using quit method also, we can close the browser. Why two methods to perform single task? What is the difference between close and quit? What is the difference between close and quit? Right. So now you are launching the application using driver.url. Assuming that this is the main page. In this page, you did some actions and it opened another page, that is child page. Assuming that child page 1. In this page, you did some actions. Sorry, in this page, in the main page, you did some action, it opened another page. On this page, you did some actions. It opened another page like this. Assuming that this is child page 2. Okay. Right now, you are performing some actions on this page. You should remember one point. Driver.close. Now I use this command called driver.close. Driver.close, it is closing, current window. It is closing current window. So what is the meaning of current window? Wherever,
Last window open.
not last window, wherever the focus is there, that is treated as current
Okay.
window. Of course, right now in this case, my current window is last window. See, if you want to perform an action on one particular page, the focus has to be there on the page. So this is basic fundamental. Wherever the focus is there, that is treated as current page. So now in this case, my current page is last window. That means child page 2. So now if I use driver.close, it is closing this window. Okay. So now I'm using driver.quit. If I'm using driver.quit, what will happen here is, no matter where we are, no matter where we are, it doesn't matter wherever the focus is there. It is closing entire thing. That means main page and its associated chains, everything it is going to close. If I use quit, the total entire driver itself is closed. That means parent and associated childs, everything it is going to close. If I use close, it will close the current window. So practically at this moment you can't see. At the time of handling multiple pages, you will come to know the difference between close and quit practically. But this is the difference between close and quit. Close means it is closing the current window. If it is the last window, it will close that. If it is last window, it will close that last window. Whereas quit means it is closing the entire driver. That means parent and associated childs, no matter where you are. So that is the difference between close and quit. Okay. Nanda and Sujay, any doubts?
No, sir.
Nanda?
No doubts.
No doubts.
So these are all the very basic concepts, basic actions with respect to the any browser. Just a second. Okay. So now your actual automation is going to start once we start interacting with web elements. In Selenium terminology, we will call it as web elements. Whereas in QTP terminology, we will call it as objects. Okay. The objects which are all present on the web page, here we will call it as web elements. Okay. So what is the web element? The object which is present in the web page is called web element. In Selenium terminology, we will call it as web element. Example, you will see like a text box, radio buttons, button, link, drop down list. There are so many things you will see as part of the web page. So each and everything is treated as a web element. So whatever you are trying to work in Selenium terminology, it is treated as a web element. Okay. Let's say if you take like a text box, on the text box, you will enter some text. If it is radio button, you will select the radio button. If it is button, click, link, click. Drop down list, you are going to select the operations. So now the question is, how will you do the action? So how you are going to perform an action on the web element? How to do an action on the web element? So this is the question. See, to do an action on the web element, first you need to identify the web element. So this is the basic fundamental. Without identifying the web element, you cannot perform any action on the web element. If you want to do certain action on the web element, first you have to identify the web element. First, you need to identify the web element. The second thing is, then once you identify the web element, perform action on the element. So without identifying the web element, you cannot perform the action. Now the question is, how to identify the web element? How to identify the web element? This is the question. In WebDriver, to identify the web element, we will use locators concept. To identify the web element, we will use locators concept. To identify the web element, we will use locators. There is a concept called locators. We will use that concept, locators. Using locators, we will identify the web element. Now the question is, what is locator? Locator is a mechanism which is represented in the form of key and value for identifying the web element. Locator is a mechanism which is represented in the form of key and value for identification of element. It is a mechanism to identify the web element it is represented in the form of key and value type, which is represented in the form of key and value type. It is a mechanism to identify the web element. To represent, it is represented in the form of key and value. Okay. In WebDriver, what are all the different locators we are using for identification of element? What are all the different locators are using to identify the web element in the WebDriver? ID, name, link text, partial link text, xbar, CSS selector, tag name, and then class. So these are all the 8 different locators we are using to identifying the web element. So these are all the different ways to identifying the web element. You may have doubt, okay, for identification purpose, do we need to use all at a time? No. Our goal is identifying the web element. So for that, you can use any one of the locator. Okay, so we should use only this way, or we should use only that particular locator. It's not like that. Our goal is identifying the web element. For that, you can use any one of the thing. So without identifying it, first of all, you cannot work with the web element. So for identification purpose, using any one of the locator, we can use this locator. But the order wise, in general, if the element information containing ID, using that ID, we can identify the web element. In the element information, if the element contains, information contains name, using that name also we can identify it. So now see, the question is, which one I should use? How should I know that? Basically, the first preference people are giving it for ID. And the second preference, name. If ID and name, if both are not there, then people will go for the different locators. Sometimes, if the element is containing ID or name also, then people will use different locators. So it's not compulsory if ID is there, then we should use only ID. It's not like that. But in general, if you have ID, that ID will identifying the element with the uniqueness. So for that reason, people are giving like first preference for the IDN. Just a second.